While Sokolova's aim of retrieving BTSU leader Barden Schaefer was thwarted by the heroic sacrifice of former True Son, Captain Fred Lewis, the devastating Black Tusk attack on the White House led to a number of essential personnel being forcibly abducted. Agent, your mission is to recover our missing people. Some of these assets may be familiar faces, but there are also a few new people who have helped you in the fight to save what remains from the shadows. Following the traumatic events of his helicopter being targeted and his subsequent rescue at the Mexican embassy, John is confronted with a deep-seated fear and reluctance of returning to the skies.
How you holding up?
Okay.
You sleeping better?
Not really.
Nightmares?
Yeah. Back in the helo. Surrounded, waiting for your agents to get me the hell out of that embassy.
That's normal. It should get easier.
That's what the doc said.
He give you anything to help you sleep?
I don't think he had anything to give. Not like we've got a fresh supply of sleeping pills lately.
I could get you some wine from the theater settlement if you want.
Yeah, just what you need. A drunk native vet stinking up the White House.
I'd rather have you drunk than dead.
I'll be alright.
Not if you don't get some sleep.
I just need something to do. Help take my mind off what happened.
We can always use a pilot.
Honestly, Manny, I'm not ready to get back in the air. But if you need help with maintenance and logistics, I'm happy to make Fernanda and Casey's lives easier.
That sounds like a great first step. I'll let Torres know she's got a mechanic incoming.
Manny reaches out to John, who is dealing with PTSD. Manny assures John that he understands and empathizes with his current struggles. While John acknowledges that he's not yet ready to resume flying, he expresses a desire to stay occupied by offering to handle maintenance and logistics tasks for the other pilots.
How you doing, John?
Good.
Sleeping better?
Yeah.
That's good.
It's good to be working again. Nice to be able to contribute.
You ready to get back up there?
Honestly, no.
That's okay.
I haven't had a nightmare in a couple weeks, but it's too soon.
I get it.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I feel like I'm letting you down.
You're not. But I do have a favor to ask you.
Anything.
I need help setting up the castle. If we want to have transpo in and out of the site, I need someone who can tell me if I'm setting up everything wrong. Last thing we want to do is move everyone in and then discover we can't move supplies.
You looking to build a landing site?
Yeah.
Well, it's safer if you don't put it in the middle of the settlement. If we can land there, so can our enemies.
That's a good point. So, what do you say? You want to help me rebuild the castle?
Despite time passing, John remains hesitant about getting back into the air. Understanding John's apprehension, Manny presents him with a new opportunity. Recognizing John's expertise, Manny assigns him a crucial role in the cleanup and rebuilding of the castle settlement, specifically focusing on tasks such as establishing a landing site and continued helicopter maintenance.
How's it going?
Good. We've almost got everything set up.
You found a secure landing site?
Yep. Everything is cleared and we have an underground entrance that leads into the settlement. If you don't know it's there, you might think we were ghosts, disappearing into the night.
That's not creepy at all.
It was Eva's idea.
You've been spending a lot of time with her lately.
She's a good kid. Reminds me of my little sister, but funnier. She's funny.
I think she has a crush on you.
She reminds me of my little sister. Don't worry, Manny. You're the only one trying to start something at the castle.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll be sure to tell Mara you said hi.
John has embraced his new responsibilities at the settlement and has excelled in his role. With the team's collective effort, they have successfully cleared a fresh landing site and made significant progress in setting up the necessary infrastructure. Throughout this journey, John has formed a close bond with Eva, whom he cherishes like a younger sister, finding comfort and support in their friendship.
I'm sorry, Manny, but I really don't know if I'll ever be ready to fly again.
I figured as much.
You've got a landing site, but no pilot.
I've got pilots. And I've got a coordinator and a mechanic that will make sure they get home safe.
You're not disappointed in me?
Why would I be disappointed? You've done everything you said you would. And you've gotten Eva to open up and trust us. Your new sister is even talking about taking over the radio station.
That's great, but I'm a pilot who can't fly. You have to be at least a little annoyed with me.
If you lied to me and got back up there with a team and got everyone killed, then I would be annoyed with you. But you telling me what you need, I can't be annoyed about that. It takes too much energy to be pissed at someone for not meeting unrealistic expectations.
Okay, seriously, what has Mari done to you? You're all like calm and reasonable and zen or some shit.
She helped me realize that some of my priorities may have not been that great. And like it or not, we're family now. And I'd rather have my new brother safe than trying to be something he's not and putting us all in danger.
So you're okay with me organizing the pilots and maintaining the fleet?
More than okay. That's exactly what we need.
John confides in Manny, expressing his doubts about ever being able to fly again. Understanding John's feelings, Manny reassures him, revealing that he had anticipated this outcome, yet emphasizing that his contribution in supporting the pilots is equally valuable. Moreover, John's presence has been instrumental in assisting Eva in helping her to open up and developing trust in the community. John also observes that Manny appears to be more relaxed than usual, speculating that Murray's presence may be responsible for this positive change in his demeanor. Intelligence had recently surfaced, revealing a significant lead on the whereabouts of John YAZZIE. The Southwest District of Washington, D.C. became the focus of attention as reports pinpointed his presence at the choke control point. Division agents wasted no time in preparing for the mission. In a calculated and coordinated assault, the agents stormed the control point, engaging in a firefight against the entrenched Black Tusk forces. However, as the agents fought their way through the facility, they received an update. John YAZZIE has been moved by the Black Tusk to the nearby train tracks, adding an additional layer of urgency to the mission. They needed to act swiftly in order to intercept them before they managed to get away with John. First, agents would need to neutralize the target, Echo 1, otherwise known as John Train Steward. As they made their way through the train tracks, they encountered waves of Black Tusk forces that stood in their way. Despite this, the agents pushed forward. Eventually, they would find Train and attack him head-on. However, once he was eliminated, agents would intercept Black Tusk comms that confirmed that John YAZZIE was dropped off at the No Hope control point 10 minutes ago by the recruiter. With urgency, the agents proceed towards the No Hope Hotel. Upon arrival, they wasted no time and immediately got to work in eliminating the hostile forces that occupied the compound. As the agents cleared out the threats and brought the hotel under their control, it was then that Manny's voice was heard over the comms, saying that John YAZZIE had been sighted at the Rayburn house. Frustrated that they had missed him again, they knew that time was a factor and quickly made their way over to the building on the eastern side of the district. At the Rayburn house, agents would encounter waves of Black Tusk forces. However, through the fighting, they would get disorientated and eventually lost. In frustration, they would punch a deer. To their surprise, this didn't help, and it would be another 10 minutes of running around in circles before they realized where they needed to be. Eventually, they would find and confront Black Tusk leader Dave Rhino Bishop, and while they were able to eliminate him, all the time wasted earlier on meant that they had missed John once again. Manny announces that John has now been found. He is at the Space Administration HQ. The agents, again blaming the deer, vow to come back later on. Venison is on the menu tonight. However, first, they must catch up with John before he is yet again moved on. Once at the facility, the agents pushed forward through the hordes of Black Tusk. However, their progress was abruptly interrupted when they were ambushed by a rogue agent. Despite the challenging encounter, the agents persevered and triumphed over the rogue, although they did question their decision to undertake the mission with the added difficulty of 4 directives. It was discovered that the BTSU operative, Gabriel Dynamite Gonzalez, was holding John YAZZIE hostage. While the division agents were busy taking care of Dynamite and her troops, JTF forces successfully infiltrate the compound and rescue John.
How you feeling, John?
Okay.
No PTSD. You sleeping okay?
I'll let you know tomorrow. I just got home, Manny. Can I at least wash the black tusk stank off me before you start the interrogation?
Sorry. You're right.
Look, I know you're worried about Mari, but you really don't have to be. They were good to me. I'm sure Mari will be fine. She's worth more to them alive anyway.
What do you mean?
Your woman is brilliant. She's like a super genius when it comes to this whole sustainable fish stuff. And she's pregnant. I don't know if you've noticed, but haven't seen a lot of pregnant people or kids running around.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying, if I were trying to rebuild civilization, it would be way easier to indoctrinate a baby than an angry teenager who remembers what the before times were like. To keep people in line and follow orders, you get them when they're young, when they're desperate. People with hope who know better, those people are dangerous. But kids don't know any better. They learn what you teach them. They believe what you believe. And if I were going to build a cult, I'd start with the kids.
That does not make me feel better.
After the successful rescue mission, Manny reaches out to John to check on his well-being. Sensing the need for a moment to gather himself before diving into an official debrief, John requests some time to catch his breath. However, Manny, consumed by worry for Murray's safety, overlooks the importance of giving John the space he needs. Fortunately, John understands Manny's concerns and reassures him that Murray is safe and is being looked after. Eva GARCIA, a history major at Kenley College, returned to campus after a Thanksgiving spent with her family. Alongside her studies, Eva ran a podcast where she spoke about whatever was on her mind with the side objective of gaining extra credit. After the outbreak, Kenley College faced a drastic change as the school closed its doors due to the escalating crisis. The effects of the outbreak quickly became apparent as students and faculty started falling ill. Eva, caught in the midst of the chaos, found her dormitory transformed into a makeshift quarantine facility. The overwhelmed healthcare could no longer handle the growing number of sick students. With no other choice, Eva made the difficult decision to leave Kenley College and head back to her home in Florida. Leaving behind the safety of the college, Eva found herself on a dubious ride towards Washington, D.C. She made the decision to exit the vehicle and seek alternative means of getting back to her family.
Hey, Mom. I don't even know if you're getting these, but I wanted to let you know we left Kenley. I'm on my way. It just might take me a little longer than expected. He was Chad. And I knew I shouldn't have gotten in his car, but it was that or wait for a Sarah evacuation bus. Chad seemed like the safer option. I'm okay. He tried some stupid shit, but I'm okay. We were outside of Baltimore, so I'm just gonna head down 95 until I can get another ride or get home to you, whichever comes first. Mom, if you get this, make me pozole.
Eventually, Eva would have to abandon her long walk home. The weather was getting too much to handle, so she decided to wait it out until spring with a local community she stumbled across.
Hey, Mom. It's not really safe to travel right now. The roads are questionable and the weather is bullshit. I thought it was supposed to get warmer the further south you went, but this winter is like extra cold and snowy. Maybe in the spring I can start walking again. But for now, I found this group and I think it's smarter if I stay with them for a while. They set up a community in an apartment complex outside of D.C. They've got plenty of food, and there's even some people talking about building rooftop gardens and raising chickens in the spring, if they can find some chickens. I hope you're getting these. I'm a little worried that you haven't called me back, and now your phone is going straight to voicemail. Mom, call me back, okay? I love you.
From the Division Recruited novel, we learn that this settlement, or community, called Athena, was a village in the hollowed-out remnants of a city. The building had once been luxury condos inhabited by the wealthy. When the dust had settled, a group of survivors had gathered there, determined to make the best of it. The concentration of almost 40 families was no accident. They huddled together for safety. In the wake of the viral apocalypse, the most dangerous thing left in the world was other people. Myra, Recruited's protagonist, was pushed into the role of Athena's head of community security, and whether she wanted it or not, she was the best person for the job. However, over time, the position had forced her to make some calls that rubbed people the wrong way, and in some cases, led to a loss of life.
Hey, Mom. You didn't call me back. Kinda just hoping you forgot to charge your phone, or the local tower is out, or cell phones don't work in Florida anymore. But in case you're still worried about me, I just wanted to let you know I'm good. Athena's a pretty chill place. We get attacked every once in a while, but we've got food. And Myra's making sure we're safe. And I even made a friend. Her little brother, Kazi. Don't worry, it's not romantic or anything. We're just friends. He's barely 18, so yeah, a little young for me. Don't worry, Mom. Although it could help pass the time, there's no danger of me getting knocked up by some kid while I wait out the apocalypse in Maryland. Love you. Call me back.
As we would find out later on in the story, it wouldn't remain happy and peaceful at Athena for very long. Athena would come under attack by the outcasts. Although Myra had put many hours into preparing the community for this very event, there was just too many of them. However, just before their last lines of defense would fall, the sudden appearance of division agents came to their rescue. Athena would survive another day, but the community was looking a little worse for wear, with a number of casualties. Myra, having done the absolute best that she could with what she had at hand, was praised by the leader of the division cell. But upon learning of their mission, to find out why supply shipments weren't making it through, and if fixed, how this could help the community, Myra asked to join them, provided that Athena would be cared for.
Hey, Mom. Pretty sure you'll never get this, but if you do, I wanted to let you know we're moving. Guess you shouldn't believe everything people say about the division. Some agents saved Athena last week, lost one of their own in the fight, and Myra joined them on some secret mission bullshit. Between losing her and the damage to the complex, and with winter coming, it's really not smart for us to stay here anymore. Honestly, it hasn't been the same since Kazi died. True Son's got him. Anyway, the division offered to take us in. I sent a group to move us to the castle. I don't know if that's code or if we're really moving into a castle, but yeah, if you ever get your phone working again and check your voicemail, you can find me at the castle. I miss you, Mom. Love you. Hope you're not dead. Fuck. Sorry, Mom. Sorry. Call me back, okay? I love you. Bye.
Eventually, the JTF would take Eva and a number of the remaining Athena settlers to the recently reopened castle settlement. Over time, Manny would assess Eva for job placement to find the perfect fit for how she could do her part in the running of this new community. He would eventually learn of her media background and asks if she would like to get the settlement radio back up and running, to play music, make announcements, and overall boost morale. Eva agrees, but it wasn't so long after this time that Eva, along with a number of other personnel, were forcibly abducted by the Black Tusk. Agents receive intelligence on Eva's possible location at the Eclipse fuel depot and quickly mobilize to clear the area of hostile True Sons and secure the outpost. However, their search proves fruitless, as Eva is nowhere to be found. Frustration mounts as the agents regroup, but Manny interrupts their disappointment with urgent news. He announces a huge surge of Black Tusk activity at the Department of Justice, raising the possibility of finding leads on Eva's whereabouts. The agents redirect their focus and set off towards the Department of Justice. Agents proceed, maneuvering through the courtyard and engaging in combat with the True Sons. They would make their way through to the underground car park. Finally, they come face to face with a high-value target. After dispatching the hostile leader, the agents would discover a crucial clue, a piece of abandoned communication equipment that points to Eva's possible whereabouts. The urgency of the situation intensifies as they realize she may be at the Navy Plaza.
Hostile radio intercepted.
Great. Another stop on the worst tour of the city. Navy Plaza's cool, I guess, but unless you really like military history or a true patriot or some shit, it's just like a pit with flagpoles.
Agent, get to Navy Plaza.
Agents swiftly converge on the compound. The True Sons have fortified the area, but the agents, undeterred, navigate the barricades and overcome wave after wave of hostile forces. Their perseverance pays off as they successfully neutralize two prominent leaders within the True Sons' ranks. Amid the chaos of battle, another communication from Eva is discovered. It becomes evident that she is deliberately leaving behind hints and breadcrumbs, leading the agents closer to her location. With this new information, the agents follow Eva's trail and fight on to ensure her safe return.
Hostile radio intercepted.
Cool. Archives. It's like being back in the library at Kenley. Except, more boring. and with less people making out in the stacks. Where the hell are you taking me?
We're closing in on them. Eva's at the National Archives.
Agents confront fierce resistance from the True Sons upon arriving at the entrance of the National Archive building. They navigate the structure, eliminating hostiles, and definitely not getting lost again. Eventually they would face off against a True Son leader. Once eliminated, Manny's voice would once again be heard over the earpieces. Wasting no time, he announces the discovery of Eva's whereabouts. She is at the Viewpoint Museum. The True Sons have fortified the facility, posing a formidable challenge for the agents. With unwavering determination, they fight their way through the heavily guarded entrance. As they delve deeper into the facility, waves of enemies grow in size and intensity, until eventually they come face to face with another rogue agent. However, the agents come prepared, armed with their shooty-shocky lightning gun that swiftly dispatches the rogue. Pressing forward, they reach the broadcasting area where the True Sons make their final stand. Among them, Lieutenant Thompson stands as their final challenge. But while all of this is playing out, the JTF arrives, mounting a successful rescue operation to secure Eva GARCIA and bring her back to the safety of the castle settlement. Once Eva was safely back at the castle settlement, Manny would check in on her.
Hey, Eva. What did she make you do?
Who?
Sokolova.
Oh, Nat? Well, she didn't really make me do anything. Like, she wanted me to record some radio show to entertain the troops, but it wasn't a big deal or anything.
You don't think that's weird?
Not really. You asked me to do the same thing.
Yeah? But how did she know that you're a DJ?
Well, she said she liked my podcast. Was sorry I never got the extra credit since the school sort of died.
Natalia listened to your podcast. What else did she tell you?
Nothing really. Played me some Isaac recordings, tried to get me to use them on the show. Manny, you might want to stop taking your comms to bed. The Black Tusks know, like, way too much about your sex life, dude.
But Eva said that everything was all good. She even referred to Natalia as Nat, like they were close friends now. Natalia even said that she used to listen to her podcast at Kenley College. She wanted Eva to record a radio show to entertain the troops, sort of a morale-boosting thing. And Eva pointed out that this isn't so much different to what Manny wants her to do. But she did say that Natalia asked her to play some Isaac recordings on her show. Maybe this was to be used as a propaganda piece. The Black Tusk soldiers have been fighting for a few months now. Perhaps this was to pick them up and remind them what they're fighting for, the future of the country, and to get there, they need to remove that rogue operation calling themselves the Division. So once again, we're hearing that the target that was supposedly being held captive was actually well cared for by the Black Tusk. So are the Black Tusk actually the good guys? No, I'm not going to humor this for even 1 second. The amount of crap they have pulled over the previous months 100% says otherwise. This is just a ploy to gain more support for their side. If you were going to take over the country and label yourself as the legitimate savior, you'd have an easier time with the support of more than just the military under your employment. You want the community leaders, the voices, the ones going above and beyond to rebuild society. With that support behind you, there would be few that wouldn't have a hard time fighting against you. Natalia is using a new tactic. Attacking the Division head-on has proven ineffective time and time again. Now, she's going after the one thing that the Division needs to survive more than anything else. The support of society, the vulnerable, the innocent. Without them, there really isn't too much more they have to fight for. The government is gone. The infrastructure is more or less obsolete in most major cities that we are aware of. Society was the last thing that the Division was fighting for, and if they have already chosen which side is the right side, what more use are the Division to the people of the US? Fortunately, even the most recently rescued civilian, Eva GARCIA, doesn't believe a word Natalia is saying.
Kindness. How fucking cool is that? In the face of unspeakable evil and certain death, this group of chaos demons chose to dig into their trauma and be nice to people. Don't fall for that shit. This is like day one of Fascism 101. Do you want apartheid or indentured servitude? Because that's how you get apartheid and indentured servants.
During a catch-up, Lauren would tell Manny of the hardship they are going through at their current settlement. So Manny offers a solution.
Hey, Manny? people this week, but we're keeping it together as best we can.
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry to say it.
Do you need anything?
Honestly, a new place to live.
It's a little crowded around here, but I'm working on a solution. It's not ready yet, but it's safe and warm, and if you don't mind living in a construction site, I can send a team to move you tomorrow.
Sounds perfect. Thank you, Manny.
Manny offered to locate Lauren and her girlfriend, Amanda, to the castle settlement to give them a safe place to live and help rebuild. As with anyone during these times, Lauren and Amanda would be given jobs to help keep the community functioning. Everyone needed to do their part if these settlements were going to survive.
Mari, I'd like you to meet Amanda. Oh, nice to meet you, Amanda. She reads lips, right? Yeah, but I can translate. You sure you're up for this? Amanda says, I'm deaf, not dead. I can feed the fish. Of course, sorry. Just some of this stuff is weirdly technical and not sure how good I am at explaining any of it. We all have to start somewhere. If we mess up, we try again. Right. Okay, cool. Sorry, I've never worked with a deaf person before. I'm totally messing this up, aren't I? We're used to it. So, how long have you girls been working together? 3 years. Were you her interpreter at school? She was my tutor before I got the nerve to ask her out. Oh, I didn't realize you were lovers. Amanda wants to know how old you are. 40. Why? She said she must be older than she looks if she called us lovers. Oh, I'm totally messing this up. Seriously, it's fine. Just maybe we stick to the work instead of the small talk. I don't think you're good at the small talk. Oh, thank God, I am not a people person. What did she say? Obviously. It was really Amanda's idea. This is genius. Explain how it works again? To provide some shade in the summer and reduce heat loss in the winter, we've made these rafts out of foam. The roots go directly into the tanks and feed the plants, making it easier to harvest. What's the substrate for the plants? Rock wool insulation. Found some at an abandoned construction site. Figured there wasn't enough to insulate a new project, but it was perfect for this. This is like a proper hydroponic farm. Amanda says, technically, hydro requires additional chemical inputs. This is a closed system. So, we have a proper aquaponic grow operation. Where did you learn how to do all of this? Before the green poison, we were talking about starting an urban farm after graduation. The original plan was to grow tilapia and salad and do a food truck. That's amazing. We're really lucky you're randomly assigned to this project. It wasn't random. We asked Manny for this assignment. Oh. He didn't tell me that. I think this might be his idea of a joke. We really need to work on his sense of humor.
It turns out that Lauren and Amanda had requested this work detail, and that they have some good experience in aquaponics, which is basically a system where waste produced by farmed fish or other aquatic creatures supplies the nutrients for plants grown hydroponically, which in turn purifies the water. So for a fish farm, this is fantastic for filtering the water, but will also provide another source of nutrition through the plants being grown.
I hope it's not too much trouble. It's not. It's just gonna take a while. That's fine. We started the cardamom seeds last week. We should be able to harvest greens in another week or two, but it'll be a couple months before we have seed pods. Thank you. I've never heard of green cardamom seeds being a pregnancy craving. Is that an Indian thing? Oh, I don't want to just eat the pods. I want to make korma. Oh, that makes more sense. Thanks again. And please keep this to yourself. We're not out of the woods yet, and I've miscarried before, so I'd rather not have to have those conversations if it happens again. I don't want to put Manny through that. Understood. Okay, that's funny. What's funny? Amanda said her lips are sealed. Thank you, Amanda. And thank you for figuring out how to grow the cardamom. You girls really are the future.
This is obviously earlier on, before Mari had told Manny that she was pregnant, sometime in the first 3 to 4 months of pregnancy. But we can see that the girls have been working with Mari for a little while at this point, as Mari seems to be picking up a bit of Amanda's sign language. agents receive intel that Lauren might be in the Midtown East District of Washington, D.C. Their first destination is the Fallen Cranes control point, currently under the control of the Black Tusk. Their numbers were huge, but the agents came prepared. Using their aces and eights build, they were also rocking the ridiculously overpowered Determined talent on their marksman rifle. They must have been feeling particularly lazy that day. After clearing the compound, they intercepted a hostile comms.
Hostile radio intercepted.
Vic, where are they taking us?
My old office. They want me to give them something.
What?
Who knows? I already purged the records. They have my batteries. Nat's after something, and she's not sharing what that is.
These comms revealed that Vikram Malik and Lauren were being taken to the Odia tech office. With no time to waste, the agents swiftly set their course and move out on their mission to rescue Lauren and Vikram. Arriving at the office, they find a small contingent of Black Tusk soldiers guarding the entrance. After making quick work of them, they climb a ladder, making their way into the building next door, and navigate through to the tech office via the balcony window. Here, there was a much larger concentration of Black Tusk, but this was no problem for the super broken one-shot, body shot talent. Once the leader on site was eliminated, another hostile comms was recovered.
Hostile radio intercepted.
Confirmed. Move Lauren to the safe house at the library. Hey, do you know where to keep the books on foraging? Check the botany section.
Lauren has been relocated to the MLK Memorial Library. Next stop, the agents will be going to the eastern side of the district, where the Black Tusk have set up an outpost at the library. The agents wasted no time plowing into the guards, defending the facility. Eventually, JTF backup would arrive and provide a much-needed distraction, while the agents managed to find the high ground. It wasn't long before the Black Tusk commanding officers had been taken down, and the site was under their control.
Agent, we've tracked Lauren to the Odia retail store.
We're closing in on her.
Unfortunately, they were too slow. Lauren has now been moved on and has been spotted heading towards the Odia retail store. In the northeasternmost part of the district, agents push towards the front doors of the store. After clearing the Black Tusk, they noticed the entrance had been barricaded. However, they found a way through the service door below. The Black Tusk on site was taken by surprise, and it wasn't long before the high-value target made itself known. After absolutely murdering the target, Manny's voice could be heard over their earpieces.
Lauren's at the District Union Arena. You got the target. Nice.
Making their way to the stronghold, the agents took a few moments to assess the heavily fortified entrance. Once satisfied with how they were going to approach the situation, they wasted no time in taking out the Black Tusk units on site and proceeding through the front doors.
Lauren's been working with Mari running the aquaponics. Bringing her here, it's almost like Sokolova took our people to run parts of her operation.
Pushing through the compound, eliminating countless hostiles, another enemy communication would be intercepted.
Hostile radio intercepted.
The only reason to convert the car greenhouses would be to do an aquaponics operation like we have at the castle. The garden beds filter the water and recycle it back for the fish.
Lauren's their prisoner, but it sounds more like she's advising the Black Tusk on running an aquaponics workshop. What the hell's going on here?
The agents continue their relentless advance, battling through room after room, facing a horde of Black Tusk soldiers accompanied by their warhounds. But the agents were undeterred, making precise shots and effortlessly dispatching enemies left and right. As they push deeper into the library, they come face to face with the Black Tusk commander, who joins the fight. But the agents had stupidly lost all of their stacks shooting a piece of equipment on the ground, so it meant that they actually had to aim during this encounter.
My armor's falling apart!
Area secure.
Once eliminated, Manny announced that he is sending someone in to bring Lauren back to the castle. Although, I wonder why. The agents could have done it. I mean, they're headed there anyway. Once Lauren was back in the castle, Manny would see how she was doing.
Lauren, can we talk?
I'm going to see Amanda. Can it wait?
I just wanted to know why you were helping them.
Helping who?
The Black Tusk.
I wasn't helping them.
We heard you talking to them about the gardens.
Oh, that? They asked me a question. I wasn't helping them. I was just answering their questions. Last I checked, hostages were not supposed to openly antagonize their captors if they want to stay alive.
That makes sense. Sokolova's changing tactics, aligning with the True Sons. They're taking infrastructure. This isn't a short-term solution. If they're setting up bases and local food security, they must be getting ready to build a stronghold for winter.
Can I go now? I'd really like to see my girlfriend.
Yeah, sorry. Apologize to Amanda for me.
No need. And don't worry, we'll get Mari back. I don't know where the medical team took her, but I'm sure she's fine.
Medical team?
Yeah, when they first captured us, the medical team took Cindy and Mari. Vic was freaking out, but I'm fine, so I'm sure they're fine.
Lauren desperately attempts to get away from Manny, hoping to reunite with Amanda. However, Manny, driven by the need to uncover the truth behind Lauren's cooperation with Natalia and the Black Tusk. Annoyed and cornered, Lauren finally gives her reasons. Manny listens intently and recognizes Natalia's long-term plans, including the need to secure sustainable food supplies if they were to succeed in taking over. Though Manny finds it hard to believe, he tries to understand the situation, considering Mari's safety and well-being in the process. Much like the last two, Lauren was treated pretty well by Natalia and the Black Tusk. While I'm pretty sure no one is buying this, Manny seems to be a little bit confused. However, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's worried about Mari after all, so he's probably looking a little deeper than needed. But there may be something to be concerned about here. If we pair this comm up with the last one, where Mari was talking about her concerns around having another miscarriage, it shows that Mari's been having these fears for months now. She would have these fears anyway, but given the state of the country, these concerns would obviously only be more intense. Things are a lot more dangerous for expectant mothers and their babies at this time. So when you hear in this piece that Mari and Cindy were taken away by medical personnel and that Vic is freaking out about it, it was right after they were captured, so hopefully it doesn't actually mean anything is wrong. Instead, this could be just to show Mari everything they have, how set up they are to be able to provide any medical care she should need. We need to remember the image that was given to this season, where Natalia is standing over the top of the personnel who were captured in a puppeteer sort of way. Is this the way Natalia is going to gain Mari's loyalty? By using Mari's fears about her baby and its future? Even when we rescue her, she's still going to have the same concerns. Is it alive? Is it healthy? Is the birth going to be okay? Natalia has a lot of the things that Mari needs to feel safe. So how will this impact the community going forward? Will this drive some sort of divide? And what does Cindy have to do with any of this? Born and raised in Virginia, Dr. Mitchell Billings grew up as the son of a career military man. He watched over the years how deployments would transform his father. The events his father had witnessed during his deployment had taken a toll on his psyche, and when he returned home to his family, he was a broken man, hostile and reactive. He experienced hypervigilance and paranoia, causing him to constantly lock every door and continually look over his shoulder for perceived threats. He often suffered from nightmares and flashbacks that would cause him to relive past traumatic events again and again, as if they were happening for the first time. Being back home with his family, he lacked an outlet for his anger, which meant he regularly engaged in displaced aggression towards them. Recognizing his immense struggles and the pain he was going through, his wife took it upon herself to try and help her husband. He had always loved to use his hands and took great pride in tending to things outside of their home. So with this in mind, she encouraged him to try building birdhouses on their porch outside. Being in nature made him feel better, along with a sense of purpose and satisfaction with completing a birdhouse for the garden's woodpeckers or sparrows. Gardening combined repetition with a creative outcome, which was soothing for him, helping to relieve stress and anxiety. He could lose himself in gentle movements when gardening and achieve mindfulness. He found that growing things from seeds or saplings, or simply keeping his lawns looking healthy, brought him a wonderful sense of satisfaction. Witnessing his mother's ability to handle his father's rage and PTSD through acts of service, patience, and concentration, Mitchell recognized her effective coping strategies for stress relief. Inspired by her emotional intelligence and determined to mend wounded souls, he pursued psychiatry as his field of study, specializing in treating soldiers returning from conflict zones. Developing expertise in PTSD and complex PTSD, Mitchell completed his residency at Walter Reed General Hospital before the outbreak of the green poison. When the True Son seized control of Walter Reed, he saw an opportunity to continue his work by healing soldiers in need. With his guidance, many of the True Sons recognized that their decisions had stemmed from pain and trauma. They came to understand that breaking the cycle was possible, enabling them to make healthier choices for themselves and their community. Later on, Billings would be rescued by the Division, where he was being held by the True Sons at a detention center. Once freed, he would continue with his mission of healing and rehabilitation of those in need. After his rescue, at Manny's request, Dr. Mitchell Billings would begin sessions with members of the team in DC.
How are you feeling today, Wally?
Good. Weird, but good.
It's gonna take time to adjust and find your role in this community.
Oh, I've already got a job, and I'm not alone. I've got Fred.
Well, that's good. Is he your boyfriend?
Oh, God, no. Fred? We're just friends. He couldn't handle this. Besides, I'm pretty sure he's still broken after the bullshit his ex put him through.
Well, I'm glad to see you haven't lost your sense of humor.
If you're not laughing, you're crying, and if you're crying, you're dying.
You've been through a lot, haven't you?
You wouldn't believe it. No one ever believes the truth.
You know, I find sometimes people surprise you if you let them.
It's hard, Doc, to let people in. If you never let them in, they can never disappoint you.
Well, you know, sometimes people use their strength and humor as a shield.
Or a weapon.
Exactly. This is a safe place. You don't have to protect yourself anymore. You can put down the armor.
Damn it. You're good, Doc.
Why did you join the True Sons?
Shit. Guess we're diving deep today. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Even with what happened at Roosevelt Island?
I didn't know fuck all about that. My job was keeping the lights on. You focus on the job, you can lose sight of a lot of fucked up shit.
Do you think Ridgway kept you in the dark on purpose?
I think everyone does that. There's no way for anyone to know everything, so people only tell you what you need to know to get the job done. That's leadership and chain of command. You follow orders and trust they are for a reason.
In the end, you decided to stop following orders. What changed?
We did. Ridgway wanted to cut our losses. We all know about acceptable loss. We know about collateral damage, but Anderson, he was chasing danger. He was courting loss. He wasn't trying to stop the hemorrhaging. With Ridgway, we were doing what we had to save the most people. With Anderson, he just wanted power. How else do you explain him partnering with Sokolova?
Did anyone else hear a little something there around her feelings towards Lewis? This wasn't pointed out, but it certainly fills my need for some scandalous revelations. However, regardless, Mitchell would eventually break through Wally's walls and find out how she is really feeling. It's not that she didn't know about a lot of the horrible stuff that the True Sons were doing, it's more that she chose to focus on the work she'd been given and ignore what was potentially happening around her. Because with Ridgway, they actually felt like they were helping and saving people. But after Anderson took over, everything changed. It didn't seem like he cared about what was happening to the True Sons, just that he was trying to gain power.
How are you feeling today, Fred? Honestly, yes. Weird. Like I don't know how the hell I got here. What do you mean? Doesn't seem fair that I'm alive. That Manny sent the agents to bring me back and most of my men are dead. On this circumstance, survivor's guilt is understandable. I know, but it's more than that. I don't know how I got this lucky. I don't know why Manny would do that for me. Your brothers in arms. You've been through a lot together. Yeah, but I followed Ridgway. I could have been a spy for Sokolova. Are you a spy? Fuck no. Why do you think Manny would put his people at risk to bring you in?
Because he wanted to squeeze me for intel. That's why he sent me to you, Doc.
Do you feel like this is an interrogation?
Not really. No.
Why do you think Manny sent you to me?
To talk. Make sure I'm okay.
Why would he do that?
Because he's worried I'm not okay.
Why would he rescue you?
Because he cares about me.
Why would he bring you in?
Because he trusts me.
How do you feel now?
Like I owe him my life.
And how are you gonna pay back that debt?
I have no idea.
You know, it's not something you can ever pay back, right?
Yeah. Not unless shit really gets fucked up. Thanks, Doc.
Don't do anything rash.
Lewis still feels extremely guilty for what he has done, and even more so because Manny would risk the life of others to rescue him, yet most of the men under his command were killed. Manny genuinely cares for Lewis, but this only makes him feel more guilty. Lewis knows that he owes Manny everything, and will do everything in his power to pay back that debt. However, as we know by now, Lewis wouldn't have much time left after this conversation, as he would meet his end protecting the White House, following Natalia's attack on the compound.
How are you feeling today, Alani?
Kelso,
How are you feeling today, Agent Kelso?
do we really have to do this?
We don't have to do anything.
Don't therapize me.
If you don't find these sessions helpful, we don't need to continue.
I just don't know what I'm doing here.
In these sessions, or in D.C.?
DC,
You miss your team in New York.
I miss my family in New York.
Interesting.
Ugh, don't do that shit.
Do you feel like this isn't your family anymore?
I don't know these people.
Do you feel like Manny is replacing you?
I feel like he doesn't need me. This isn't my home anymore.
How do you feel in New York?
Like, they want me there? They don't just need me. They actually want me to be there.
You don't think people want you to be here?
I think the longer I stay and the more things change, the less anyone would care if I left. Not like there's much love for the division around here. Frankly, it feels like you think I'm a traitor. And I swear to God, if I hear one more person talk shit about Faye... You know, I used to be CIA. Making a murder look like an accident is like Spycraft 101.
Well, we now know where Kelso has been hiding out during the season. She's been taking some time out with her family in New York. But also that she no longer feels like she has a place in DC, that she isn't needed anymore. She also said that she suspects that people see her as a traitor. Now, not to break the immersion here, but I fully feel like this could be a jab back at me for all the perhaps misplaced videos about Kelso being a traitor or rogue. If we go back a year or so when this was likely being written, I was in full swing with my "what the hell is Kelso doing" videos, where I was accusing her of doing all sorts of things against the division. I'm probably just overanalyzing, but I'm totally taking some responsibility for this. In all fairness, I really like Kelso's character. She just terrifies me, and she's a little bit crazy. However, I'll admit, I like a little bit of crazy.
How are the sessions going?
Good. How are you doing?
Fine. Anything I should be worried about?
I'm not going to tell you what I talk about with my other patients.
No, of course not. I didn't mean...
You know, you don't have to take care of everyone. You don't have to control everything.
Of course not.
It's okay to let go and enjoy yourself, Manny.
I know how to enjoy myself.
I know. How are things with Mari?
Good. I like her. She's smart. She challenges me to get out of my head.
Funny. She strikes me as a very cerebral person.
Oh, she is. But she, fully commits to anything she does. So when we're together, we're very together. Do I really have to talk about this?
No, you don't. But you should talk to Mari.
About the baby?
Yeah.
I want it, she wants it, we want it, but we don't know if it's smart or good timing.
Well, there is never good timing.
Well, there's bad timing and there's giving birth in a war zone.
Babies are born in war zones all the time.
I don't know how to do this job and be a dad.
What do you mean?
I have to stay calm and measured and make tough choices. I don't want my kid to think I'm some cold, heartless asshole workaholic.
Fathers come in all shapes and sizes.
I guess, but if I'm gonna have a kid, I want to be with that kid.
You know, you could learn a few things from Wally and Fred about parenting.
They don't have any kids.
No. But they know that sometimes the best way to decompress and manage stress is to accept that there is no way to solve the problem. If you can laugh at your situation, you won't be consumed by it.
This particular session just confirms exactly what we know about Manny, as well as the way he's been feeling over this last season. He has an intense need to be of control in every situation, and he has a deep-seated fear about not being good enough to father his unborn child. He takes on an immense amount of responsibility and deems himself as the sole person responsible for the outcome and everything that has happened in DC. He needs to find a way to decompress, to learn to share the load with other trusted individuals around him, recognize the good he has done, and learn to let go of the guilt he feels, or it will eventually consume him. Is this the start of a downward spiral for Manny? Do we need to talk to Kelso and get her back to DC? Intelligence had recently surfaced, revealing that Mitchell Billings was being held somewhere in the Constitution Hall district of Washington, D.C. Further inspection revealed that he's been held at the Haunted House control point. Arriving at the outpost, agents were greeted by an enormous unit of True Sons. But the agents were prepared for this. With their overwhelming training and firepower, including the super magical Slayer snowball cannon, they were able to make short work of them, and upon their elimination, many would be heard over the comms.
Doc's been moved to the Outcast work camp. He's an excellent therapist. Sokolova's using him to treat people. Maybe I've been wrong about her.
Ignoring Manny's doubts, the agents waste no time and head off towards the Outcast work camp. Arriving at the location that was marked on the map, the agents clear a small group of True Sons that were mulling about on the street. Then, without warning, they were ambushed by a much larger group coming from a balcony above. Fortunately for them, the agents were wearing their Logitech G Pro X wireless headsets with 50mm drivers and pro-grade precision audio, so they heard them coming from a mile away. #sponsored. Once the hostiles were cleared out, they made their way deeper into the camp and came across the high-value target, and after eliminating him, they were able to intercept a hostile comms.
Hostile radio intercepted.
The men at the nest are on the brink of burnout. They need a break. They can't maintain this pace.
Thank you for the assessment, Dr. Billings. I'll send a relief team as soon as possible.
Get to the nest.
Mitchell is advising Natalia on the state of her men, but also gives the agents the last location he'd been spotted. Throwing all caution into the wind, the agents charge into the site with absolutely no planning and would quickly pay the price.
Vital signs critical. Agent killed.
After recomposing themselves, they would rush back in, this time with backup. Despite the challenging weather, it wasn't long before this site too was cleared and brought under friendly control. But unfortunately, they would discover that Mitchell is long gone from the area.
Doc Billings has been moved to the True Sons broadcast outpost. Is Sokolova putting him on the radio? What the hell's she doing?
The agents replenish their supplies and head off to the True Sons broadcast outpost. Traveling to the southeasternmost part of the district, the agents would come across a lightly defended building. Making their way to the roof, they surprise another group of True Sons, who seem completely unaware of the murder of their friends just moments ago on the street below. Entering the building, it wasn't long before the leader on site made his presence known. But once again, he, alongside his troops, were merely a hindrance and were quickly dispatched.
Black Tusk have Dr. Billings at DCD headquarters. We gotta move.
Erring on the side of caution, the agents scope out the entrance of the DCD headquarters before pushing ahead, mainly because their usual run-and-gun approach proved unsuccessful a couple of times in a row.
Dr. Billings has helped all of us heal and work together. Be careful, Agent. I don't like that Sokolova's brought him here.
Agent requesting backup.
Moving through the compound, it was starting to get pretty clear to the agents that these True Sons had a lot harder than the previous ones building up to this mission, and that maybe they could have equipped a more flexible build. However, regardless, they pushed on. Not only were they fighting more ferociously, but they were in much larger numbers. Mitchell was obviously very close by.
Hostile radio intercepted.
I'm really sorry to hear you've been having a hard time. You can't let your pain drive your decisions. If you can, please take a chance to breathe and recalibrate yourself. Not just your weapon. Thanks, Doc.
I don't understand what she's trying to do.
They continued to push through the facility, attempting to waste as little time as possible to catch up with Mitchell before he's once again moved on. Eventually, they would be confronted by the True Sons' leader, Lieutenant Young, and after taking out his guards, they turned their attention to him, and while using potentially the most painful and impractical weapon in the game, they would slowly take him down.
Tango's on me! How the fucking hell? Got you, Agent. That's weird. Thought.
We've got Doc Billings. I'll see you back at the castle, Agent. Please, come see me if you ever want to talk.
When Mitchell had been safely returned to the castle settlement, Manny would catch up with him for a debrief.
You okay, Doc?
Yeah,
What does she want with you?
just to do my job. One of her soldiers are approaching burnout. She wanted me to do psych evals on them.
Did you?
Not all of them, but a few before your agent rescued me.
She didn't hurt you or force you?
To do my job? No, she didn't force me. She asked me to talk to some troubled soldiers, and I talked to them. I took an oath. It doesn't matter that I was a prisoner, I'm a doctor first. You don't choose your patients. You don't choose who gets help. You help the people who need it, regardless of their loyalties.
Is there anything you can tell me?
I can't give you any specifics on my patients.
What about patterns? What do they say about Sokolova? Any patterns of abuse, manipulation, control?
No, Manny. Quite the opposite. The only reason her soldiers are still here is because of her leadership. They feel respected, listened to, and cared for. Even in death, she finds a way to honor them. They adore her.
Mitchell was asked to help her by performing psych evaluations on Black Tusk soldiers. After all these months, some of them were starting to show signs of burnout and depression. Mitchell says he was treated well, and that this is his job, and he was happy to assist her with her request. His mission is, and has always been, to help those in need, regardless of what side they are on. Manny digs deeper, trying to find out anything that Natalia is doing in the background, but Mitchell says it's actually much different to how Manny imagines her control over the Black Tusk would be. Her soldiers respect her and feel valued. She is the only reason they are still doing what they do, given the situation the world is in right now. It's pretty obvious that Manny is really starting to struggle with how all of these prisoners have been treated. I mean, he's glad, I'm sure, especially since he still hasn't been able to recover Mari, but this is all really starting to confuse him. Based on what he is hearing from these debriefs, Natalia is nothing like he imagined she'd be. I've been calling this out since the very first rescue. Natalia is playing a new game, one that paints her and the Black Tusk in a different light. But in reality, I don't think anything has changed. She still needs to be stopped. She's just attacking the remaining JTF and Division agents in a different way. She's casting doubt, and on top of this, she's attempting to turn civilians over to their side. Sadly, I think Manny is a little bit vulnerable right now, and with Mari gone, and the pregnancy, he isn't in the right state of mind to make proper judgments. SINGH is the director of the Washington, D.C. Aquarium. When animal rights groups protested the inhumane captivity of the aquarium's dolphins, they cited it as animal cruelty, and from here there began a number of long drawn-out lawsuits filed against the aquarium. With the impact of these lawsuits and the outcry from the public, the aquarium started to lose revenue at an alarming pace. Unable to afford hiring a spokesperson, the responsibility fell solely on Murray's shoulders to be the voice and face of their organization. They soon realized that keeping the dolphins at the aquarium was no longer a feasible and ethical option for them, and immediately began focusing their efforts and funds on rehoming the mammals to a local sanctuary, as releasing them back into the wild was not a possibility. Some of these animals had spent the entirety of their lives at the aquarium, and others had been captured when they were so young that captivity was the only life they really knew. Although devastating to say goodbye to these dolphins, as the aquarium staff had built such close bonds with them over the years, ultimately they had to put the animals' well-being above all else. And so even with such great financial cost to the aquarium, along with the financial strain from the lawsuits, Murray made the hard decision to rehome them. Of course, this was the plan before the dollar flu outbreak caused the whole city to be put into lockdown. Murray embodies wariness, professionalism, and a practical approach, potentially to a fault. She understands that certain things need to be done in order to achieve objectives. Following the division's successful rescue of the aquarium community and Agent Kelso's absence in New York, Murray enters a relationship with Manny. Upon Kelso's return, Manny discovers Murray's pregnancy, which revitalizes his commitment to restoring the castle settlement and transforming it into a secure sanctuary for their expanding family.
Thank you for dinner.
Oh, I told you I owed you one.
It's been a really long time since I've had a meal this good.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for the easy company.
When you invited me over for fish tacos, I wasn't sure if it was some kind of code.
Code?
You know, for, nah, never mind.
I have kind of an awkward question.
Okay.
What's the deal with you and Kelso?
The deal?
Are you two together?
Oh, God, no, she's beautiful, but not my type. Too chaotic and young.
Good to know. Would you like a drink? I got some wine from the theater settlement. Traded 3 fish for it. They say it's, quote, good stuff.
I'm going to need to jump in here and go off track for a little bit. I've been married for around 8 years. I certainly wouldn't have any idea of what it's like in the dating scene these days. It's been almost a decade. And to be fair, if I looked back, my social awkwardness meant that I could barely even string a decent sentence together. I fully relied on the fact that I was a big, okay-looking dude who liked to lift a lot of weights back then. My courting ritual of a potential mate could have been compared to a silverback gorilla beating his chest, or perhaps a darker-haired version of the American animated series of the late 90s, Johnny Bravo.
Hey, baby, I know what you're thinking. How did the statue get off its pedestal? Well, surprise. I'm real. Sugar nip?
What I'm trying to say is, I have absolutely no game by yesterday or today's standards, but these are still bloody awkward to listen to, even by my standards. However, for consistency, I need to include these in the video.
As requested for tilapia fillets.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to try this famous ceviche. I thought you only made that for special occasions or when you're trying to get laid.
Thanks, Cindy.
Happy to help, boss.
Sorry about her.
I like her, she's funny. And informative. So, what's the special occasion? Or do you just want to get laid?
I don't know how to answer that.
I guess sleeping with me could count as a special occasion.
Oh, okay, wow, so, do you want to go in my office? I kind of live in there, and there's a lock on the door.
Well, maybe you should take a shower first. You're cute, but honey, you stink.
Yeah, right, yeah, sorry about that. Never really feels like I can take a break. Personal hygiene has been slipping for a while now.
Less talking, more showering, mister. I need to get back to the aquarium or people are going to suspect something's up.
Oh my God, did you try the fish tacos? They're so freaking good.
Right? If they led with this, we could have overthrown the Black Tusk.
Hindsight. I'm glad you made it out.
Me too. I wish more of us made it.
Nope, stop. We can't go there. If we start crying, we'll never stop.
Hey, Manny. Tell your girl thanks.
Hey, keep it down.
What?
We're not public. Shit, Mari, have you tried this ceviche?
Of course.
You gotta have some.
I'm good.
You're missing out.
You pregnant or something?
Okay, no more toilet wine for you. Manny, can you handle him?
Of course.
What did I say?
We aren't telling people.
Oh, shit. You're gonna be a dad.
Hey, friend. I really like this girl. Can you just please shut the fuck up?
You knocked her up. I hope you like her.
Okay, I think it's time for bed.
I'll take care of our boy. Go get your girl. We need to talk.
Oh, no, did I do something wrong?
No, you're not in trouble or anything. Well, at least I hope not.
Okay, now you're scaring me.
We're adults. We're smart. College educated and all that.
Are you interviewing me for a job?
No, I just mean, we aren't stupid, and I'm a scientist, so I know how reproduction works.
Okay, now you've lost me.
We've been having fun for a couple of months.
Has it really been that long already?
Yeah, we've been having uninterrupted fun for the last 8 weeks.
This may be my longest relationship.
Be serious.
I am. I really like you, Mari.
I like you too. I like you so much we've been having unprotected sex for 8 weeks with no breaks.
Aren't you on birth control?
Where would I get birth control?
Are you pregnant?
For now.
What do you mean, for now?
I mean, I've been pregnant before. I've taken care of it, or my body has, so the odds of this baby making it to term with minimal access to modern medicine with a questionable diet and high stress is not great.
Do you want to have a kid with me?
Well, we've only known each other for a couple of months, but honestly, I couldn't imagine a better person to have a kid with.
How can I help?
I guess send your agents to raid a pharmacy for prenatal vitamins and find a midwife? Maybe we could build a barn for me to give birth in. I don't know. We could die tomorrow or live to be 100. None of this makes sense.
Well, then I guess I'll plan for 100 and be happy if we see tomorrow.
Mari Singh has been located at the Manning National Zoo. At the entrance, agents are immediately met with heavy black tusk resistance. While these aren't an issue for the agents to dispatch, they are now running against the clock. With hostiles aware of the division being on site, they need to move fast before Murray is once again moved on.
Hostile radio intercepted.
Division on site. We need to secure the asset.
I'm near the aquarium. I'll handle Mari.
Remember, Nat said keep her stress low.
Handle the intruders and start evacuation procedures. I'll keep her calm and move to the rendezvous.
Copy that.
Through the intercepted comms, the Black Tusk have been instructed to keep Mari calm and comfortable, but the agents would also learn of her location. Fighting through hordes of Black Tusk on their way to the aquarium, including some warhounds, the agents consider themselves lucky for not having similar doggos that were seen at the end of the last manhunt.
The aquarium has better infrastructure. You'll have to contend with predation and weather if you convert the enclosure into a fish farm. Are you sure there aren't any crocs in there? This really doesn't feel very safe. I promise, no crocs, gators, or apex predators of any kind are in the enclosures.
Pushing through the aquarium, it appears that Murray has been moved on.
Mari was the director of the DC Aquarium before she turned it into a fish farm. They probably want her to set up a similar operation for the Black Tusk. Food security is a powerful motivator. Agent, I've got eyes on Mari near the savannah.
Agents make their way over to the savannah.
You can't let the division destroy the clinic! We won't. We should stay and fight! We need to get you and that baby to safety. Don't worry. The Black Tusk will stop the division. Thank you.
Get the patients out of here!
They're running away from us? But we're trying to help them.
I won't let you take them!
It would appear that Murray isn't the only pregnant woman on site. They seem to be using this area of the zoo as a clinic. It also shows that the personnel the agents have been rescuing are only some of many civilians that the Black Tusk have been working with. The propaganda machine is going strong.
System.
This could work. Biodome would be perfect for an aquaponics operation like the one we set up at the castle. Some of these plants must be edible. You could root the cuttings and grow them on top of the fish tanks. You're not worried about predation? As long as you keep the dome closed, you shouldn't have to worry about birds stealing the fish. The plants on top offer additional protection. It's also nicer to work inside during a storm, and it's closer to the clinic. Honestly, you don't need all of this to build a fish farm. You're recommending we look for another site for the operation. I'm recommending you use the infrastructure of a zoo for a zoo. We need sustainable food for the community if we want people to come back. And when people are back, they're going to be bored and want to go on adventures. Experience new things. They'll want to go to the zoo. Or the aquarium. Yes. But turning the aquarium into a fish farm was different. We already had a fish farm. Turning the crock pit into a trout hole is very different. The exhibits weren't built for people to grow food. They were built to keep the animals in. There are too many ways people can get hurt, especially at night. And especially if you're wrong about all the predators abandoning their habitats. You want a fish farm? Convert a warehouse or a shipping container. It would work just as well.
As the agents move through the compound, they intercept quite a number of hostile comms. The Black Tusk are evacuating quite a large number of personnel, and Murray has been moved along hastily.
Agent, there's movement in the bamboo forest near the panda enclosure. I think they're getting ready for another extraction.
Wally directs us to the next extraction point. Murray could be on this one, so the agents waste no time in making it over there.
How's it going? Come in, dipshit. Well, he's dead. Okay, I think we should get you out of here, just in case. Something wrong? Nothing you should worry about. But I'd prefer to get you somewhere more secure. Too many access points. We need an extraction. Send the helo. Meet us at the atrium.
Realizing that the agents are getting close, and that nothing seems to be slowing them down, the Black Tusk move Murray towards an extraction point.
Take this. Put it in your ear. I'll let you know when it's safe to come out.
These are division comms.
You'll be safe in there. I'll let you know when you can come out.
Someone is looking out for Murray. Agents will need to worry about this later, as they engage in combat at the atrium with one of the Black Tusk leaders that have been looking after Murray.
Where is that helo? En route to the atrium. Negative. Atrium is compromised. New rendezvous at the arena. Copy that.
Eventually the leader would be taken down, and Murray could be heard over the comms.
Manny? I know you're listening. Hey, Mari. It's, Wally, actually.
Wally? Where the hell is Manny?
We sort of agreed he should sit this one out.
That was probably a good idea.
Torres is on her way. I'll tell Manny you're okay.
No, please don't. Just wait until we're back. In case anything happens to us, I don't want to get his hopes up.
However, they aren't quite done yet. Murray was relocated to the arena, where another Black Tusk leader is waiting to extract her.
Don't shoot! It's me! I'm coming out! Agent, you can shoot a flare. Taurus is on her way.
However, when firing off the flare to bring Torres in, the agents and Mari weren't the only ones left on site.
What, you miss me or something?
Thank you, Agent. Are you okay? Did they hurt you?
Hey, I'm fine. I'm fine.
The baby?
So far, so good. Even got some prenatal vitamins. And a scan. Yeah, everything's normal. We're not out of the woods, but their doctors say she looks healthy.
She?
It's a girl.
They took care of you. You were safe with them?
No. No, I wasn't safe with them. That psycho was only good to me because she knew she needed me alive to get what she wants.
What does she want?
For you to give her the White House. And to install her organization as rightful military force. To stand down and give her legitimacy. What else did you expect from a woman like that?
Maybe we should just give her what she wants.
Fuck that.
Yeah. I'm with Wally. Giving in to people like that never ends well.
We can't do this alone.
Well, we don't have to. Where's Vic?
Sokolova has him.
Well then, you get him back. He knows her operation. He helped build it. You want to take her down? And you want to protect your family? Get Vic. Where's Kelso?
Back in New York.
We need to get sleep. We have a big day tomorrow.
Thank you.
Nat, I just wanted to let you know, the asset is in place and awaits your orders.
Excellent.
Mari very obviously doesn't buy into what Natalia has been doing. She is certain that this whole thing was just a part of Natalia's plan of manipulation, a plan to mislead and confuse Manny and the team into just handing over the White House. And to be fair, it's been working. Look at how Manny reacted through this whole manhunt, and the state he's now in. He seems almost defeated. But this is where Mari voices up and tells him to snap out of it. Unlike Manny, she sees right through it. Natalia is crazy, she needs to be stopped, and Wally 100% agrees with her. First things first, they need to get Vikram Malik back. He has once again been captured by the Black Tusk. As we have found out over this last season, he played a part in building her operation. He has the information they need to take it down.
Are you really okay?
Yes. Stop treating me like I'm made of glass.
I'm not doing that.
Yes, you are.
We should get some sleep.
You should be working.
I can't. Can't we just take a break and be grateful you're home and safe?
Yeah, we can take a break. But tomorrow we get back to work.
What does she want with you anyway?
Same thing you do.
She wants a baby?
No, what is wrong with you? She wanted me to set up a fish farm at the zoo. Figured if I could repurpose the exhibits at the aquarium to feed the community, they could do something similar there.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it's not the worst idea. Why the hell would they want to try to maintain a fish farm at a zoo? I thought their whole thing was being creepy, infiltrating raiders with too much tech and no morality.
She's an heiress. She's probably tired of hovercrafts and soldier stink. She's looking for something more stable. She's recruiting, trying to turn our people to her side. Maybe she's ready for something bigger. If she controls the food supply and offers protection and stability, she could turn the nation.
Or maybe the fish farm wasn't for her. I don't know. I'm going to bed.
So now that the season is wrapped up, there are a couple of big topics we need to discuss. Has Natalia actually turned good, or has Mari lost the plot? What is the asset Natalia was talking about? And who is the random unnamed person who helped Mari out at the zoo and gave her the division comms? Let's start with what I sort of see as the obvious one. Is Natalia and the Black Tusk the good guys now? In my opinion, absolutely not. I've been harping on about this since the first minor mission this season. It has all just screamed as Natalia is playing the same plan but trying a different direction. I agree with what Mari said about Natalia trying to get Manny to just hand over the White House, but I don't think Mari or Wally would ever let this happen. However, I think this is only part of what Natalia was trying to do with this new approach. I mean, she was successful with Manny. He looks shattered, like he needs to take some sort of sabbatical or something. But look at what we found out in their last mission. Our personnel that we've been bringing back look to only be a fraction of who Natalia has brought under her wing. There were a lot of people being evacuated from the zoo while we were there, and from the sounds of it, they completely buy into what Natalia is selling. They were actually scared of the division. It would seem that the Puppet Master has successfully begun controlling the way the public see her and the Black Tusk. To be fair, she should have started doing this a long time ago. What Manny said there about whoever controls the food and can provide security will have the support of the people isn't necessarily untrue, but I think on a much more basic level, if Natalia wanted to take control of DC or the US, She was always going to have a much easier time if she had the general public on her side. But she has a hell of a job ahead of her. Looking at the Black Tusk from the outside, they don't exactly scream friendly, with their dark uniforms, robot attack dogs and other giant tech they leave all over the place, as well as the fact that they have mowed down an unimaginable number of JTF since they've first been in the city. Maybe this is where the true sons come in. It did always seem strange that she would bring them on board. They didn't really have a lot to offer her. Perhaps they will be the ones that handle the more civilian-facing missions, while the Black Tusk work on the more undercover projects in the background, so the true sons can gather all of the negative press, while Natalia continues to boost the Black Tusk. Anyway, summing up whether Natalia is now good? No, she is not. Her goal is still the same as it has always been. She is simply just placing a bit more focus on the Black Tusk's public image. So who is the asset Natalia was talking about, and what is Natalia going to do with them? It could be easy to assume after this last season of rescuing lesser-known characters that perhaps one of them has been turned by Natalia and is ready to play out some sort of sabotage on Manny or the castle settlement. But I don't think this is the case. All of them have very close relationships with Manny before they were captured, and none of their personalities seem like the type to do this. Obviously we could be surprised, but it still doesn't feel right to me. Instead, I believe the asset to be something else. In the past, we've heard Natalia use similar language during the Baden-Schaeffer manhunt, and what they were referring to as the asset then was a hunter. So I'm going to say that this is what she has put in place. But to do what? Well, I think this is where my last question comes in. Who was the person behind the voice who helped keep Murray safe during her rescue?
Take this. Put it in your ear. I'll let you know when it's safe to come out.
These are division comms.
You'll be safe in there. I'll let you know when you can come out.
When I first heard the voice, like most I assume, I noticed there wasn't a name attached to the subtitles. My mind went straight to things like maybe it was a JTF officer who had infiltrated the compound, who was getting ready to extract her once we had dealt with the last of the hostiles. Or maybe it was a defector within the Black Tusk ranks, who had managed to get hold of a division comms piece. But then we would get to the end of the mission, and someone familiar that we've seen once before would show himself. Now I'll admit it, the voice being a hunter, or more specifically, the recruiter, didn't fit for me. But the more time I spent trying to prove this wrong, the more likely it ended up becoming. I went back through all of my mind maps, Venn diagrams and whiteboards that I've used to piece all the stories together over the years, across the different media types and games. I looked through all the past and current characters to try and make sense of it and who could have stepped in at the last minute there, but I kept coming up blank. However, when I stood back and actually assessed the potential significance of those couple of lines, along with Natalia's mention of the asset, the scene showing the recruiter, and the fact that a lot of the comms this season, coming out of the Descent game mode, have been bringing a lot of light to the role of the hunters, it's hard not to come to the conclusion that this was the voice of the recruiter. But then, why would he help Murray? I mean, we all love the hunters, but when it comes to agents versus hunters, they're the bad guys, right? I don't think this is a situation where the voice actor maybe didn't portray the character in the correct way, because I regularly chat to the overlord of all that is the Division lore, and she is most certainly not someone who would settle for a mediocre attempt at voicing one of her creations. So if that was the recruiter, he kind of sounded like a decent guy, not the bad guy you would expect. Well, like everything in this game, I think there's a lot more to it. Based on the intel we're receiving from the Descent comms, it's looking very likely that one of the first speculations around what we thought the hunters were may actually be pretty close. I put out a video, my first speculation video actually, 5 years ago, called Who Are the Hunters? To date, this is still the most popular video I've ever released, which is sad because it was actually demonetized almost immediately by Ubisoft because they didn't like some of the survival footage I used apparently. But we won't talk about that right now. Basically, the most favoured speculation I could talk to at the time was that the hunters were the third wave. Now, I don't think that they're the third wave, but I believe their position through this whole thing is very similar to what we were talking about way back then. They were put in place as sort of a division agent control system. I say division agent rather than rogue agent because there seems to be a very blurry line between these two things these days. So for the purpose of this video, let's just round up rogues and division agents as the same thing, and hunters are a suppression system put in place to control them if needed. This isn't meant to be an agent versus hunter video because I feel the answer to that is pretty clear. If pitted against each other one-on-one, not the player character, but an average division agent versus a hunter, the agent wouldn't stand a chance. This isn't because the SHD agent is worse than the hunter, they just have very different functions. Agents are there to save what remains, work closely with those in society to help rebuild, while fighting back against any hostile uprisings they may encounter. Hunters, they're specialized in doing exactly what their name suggests: hunt down a target and eliminate. I think of the Hunters as being like a Ghost Recon ghost. No, I'm not saying that Ghost Recon is the same universe as The Division. That has been confirmed as false many times. I'm just using them as an example. Hunters are super black ops, except while Ghosts are still formidable on their own, they're most effective in a small squad, where Hunters work solo. Even agents, while deployed in cells, are perfectly capable working alone, unless they're running raids or incursions, it would seem. Basically, the Hunters are far more highly trained combat units than the agents, but their purpose is much narrower. Rather than being trained, the Hunters are recruited, hence the recruiter. I think before the outbreak, the Hunters were recruited from various branches of Special Forces. So these guys are American troops. Super deadly troops, but still people fighting for their country. Why do I think this matters? Well, Calvin McManus isn't exactly a good guy, it would seem, and the Hunters do report directly to him. They aren't just mindless killing machines. I don't think they want to see US civilians being killed en masse by the Black Tusk, Division agents, or anyone else stuck in this conflict. And I think there's the potential there that the recruiter is going a little off mission. Well, at least a little bit off Calvin's mission. Let's assume for a second there that the Hunters' whole mission that they have been given was to eliminate Division agents who have gone off mission. As things currently are, it isn't really clear who is and isn't on mission. So perhaps the Hunters, or at least their leader, the recruiter, is feeling a little conflicted in the direction everything is headed. Also, given that they're using at least one of the 3 AI systems, it's possible they have hacked into it and seen everything that has been going on, like Aaron Keener did. Maybe the recruiter is looking for someone on the other side of this war to converse with about this whole thing. Someone he sees as an equal with a similar moral compass. Someone who can help bring balance to this situation. And this is why he's been watching us for so long now. He's been assessing whether we can be trusted. Remember, Calvin and Natalia wouldn't exactly be able to recognize us if we were recruited. As we all know, Hunters don't talk, and their identity is hidden by a mask. We might not even be the first Division agent that has been recruited into the Hunter ranks. This has been an interesting season for the story. We still have more of our personnel to rescue, but it's looking more and more like Natalia is finding success in bringing the general public over to her side, and that the Division are only losing support. It's also very cool to see the recruiter make another appearance, and with the nature of the Descent comms still coming through, I suspect we'll be hearing more about him soon. Anyway, if you've made it this far, I hope you've enjoyed this compilation video on Year 5 Season 1. Season 2 isn't far away now, so we should see who Natalia's asset is soon. But who do you think it is? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and Extremis Malus, Extrema Remedia.